I have an idea. Let's install a new light switch. Now the first thing you want to do is select what kind of switch you want. So if you're replacing a switch like this, on the back side you're going to see some stuff on it like this. There's going to be some screws or wires coming out, depending upon what kind of switch you have. Now this is called a single pole switch. It's got a ground and it's got 2 screws. This one is called a dual or a double pole switch, and this has got a ground and 3 wires. Now these ones you can wire up as a single or a double. We're going to wire it up as a single, so we have one of these capped. So we're only going to be using these 2 wires. Now before you do anything, opening up the wall, there's one thing we got to do first. And that would be going outside and flipping off the breaker to the switch you're going to be working on. Now something to pay attention to is inside our box we also have an outlet, and this breaker may not control that outlet. So double check that outlet before you start opening anything. Anything in that box in the wall, you want it to be completely off before you open it up. So now that we're sure that our breakers are off for both our switch and our socket, we can remove the cover plate. And now with the cover plate removed, you can see the 2 pieces. We're going to take our switch out now. That's 2 more screws. Now with those screws out of the way, you can pull the whole switch out. It will be a little difficult pulling it out, and that's just because you're pulling against these wires. You can still pull, it will come out, and you can see here the wires are attached with these 2 screws. So we're going to go in here and loosen up these screws. Those are our 2 power wires, and then on the other side, our exposed wire, which is attached to the green screw, that's our ground. Now with those loosened up, we can take our wires off the switch. And now the switch is free. Now I want to point out something here. These have a hook in them. You can see how they've kind of been hooked over. And that's because you want them to wrap around the screw. If you're installing a switch like this, you want to hook the wire and then wrap it in a way that when you tighten the screw, the actual wire is tightening with it. So you want the wire to go around the screw clockwise. Now with this new switch we're putting in, it has exposed wires, and we're going to be connecting with wire nuts. So what you want to do is steal the pink pliers off your daughter's workbench because you can't find yours, and get these guys nice and straight so you can connect them with wire nuts. So now with those straight, you take your new switch, you want to put the wires next to each other just like so, and then wrap them in a clockwise fashion around each other. And then take one of these wire nuts. And I'm going to have a link for these wire nuts in the description below. If you buy a new switch, it probably comes with them, but you may not. And you just thread them on there. And you want to turn it until it's snug. And you also want to make sure that none of the copper is exposed that can short out against something else in the wall. So we've got those 2 connected. Now we're going to connect our ground. And our ground is a little bit different. We do not have to worry about this one shorting out or anything like that. So now we can put the whole mess back in the wall. And this can be tricky because now you've got a lot of wires and stuff. So you just want to push it all back in there. And just pay attention and make sure that nothing comes unhooked as you're pushing. There we go. And once you get everything tucked back in the wall, you can replace your screws. Now when you're replacing these screws, I always recommend putting the first one in very loosely. It gives you the ability to get the other one in and get it lined up. And once they're both in, you can tighten it all the way down. This is also the time where you want to check and make sure, because I've done this the wrong way, these will all say up on them, and that'll let you know which end obviously goes up. If you put the whole thing together and you put the switch in upside down, all your guests are going to be confused because they're going to be turning off your lights instead of turning them on. So now with that installed, we can put that cover plate back on. And now you've got your new switch installed. So now all we have to do is go back outside and turn the breaker back on. So turning on the breaker is a two-handed operation. The first hand comes over here and flips on the breaker. The second hand, you got to cross your fingers and hope you didn't screw anything up. But really, if you did screw anything up, the worst that's going to happen is when you turn the breaker back on, it's going to pop off. That means you've got a short somewhere and you got to go find it. And then you can just come back inside and check out your lights, make sure they work. So if this video helped you out at all, please be sure to give it a great big thumbs up. Go down and smash that subscribe button. Go down below and let me know what kind of stuff you're working on around the house and what kind of stuff you'd like help with. Thanks for watching.